Let me ask you something. Do you want to be successful or do you want to look successful? Because there's a difference. One's about appearances, the other's about action. See, everybody loves the highlight reel, the wins, the trophies, the applause, but very few are willing to grind through what it really takes to get there. Success isn't flashy. It's not overnight. It doesn't show up with a welcome mat and a gift basket. It shows up in the form of early mornings, late nights, tough decisions, and lonely moments when no one's clapping for you. Success doesn't knock on your door. You have to build the door, open it, and be ready to walk through when the moment comes. And the truth is, success leaves clues. It's not random. It's not magic. It's habits. 10 simple, powerful, and consistent habits practiced daily by the people who don't just dream big, they live big. So if you're tired of waiting on luck, tired of watching others win while you wonder when it's your turn, pay attention. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't theory, it's not hype. It's what the greats do. It's how they move, how they think, how they rise, and how you can too. They wake up with purpose. That means before their feet even hit the floor, they already know why they're getting up. They aren't dragging themselves out of bed hoping the day gives them direction. They are the direction. These people don't let life happen to them, they happen to life. There's an inner fire that guides them. A vision that's so clear, so loud, it won't let them sleep in. It doesn't matter if they're tired. It doesn't matter if the world is quiet, dark, or still. They rise not for applause, not for validation, but because there's something inside them that says, let's go. You see, purpose gives pain a reason. It gives sacrifice a name. When you have purpose, discomfort isn't something to avoid. It's something you endure because there's meaning behind it. These people don't hit snooze. Not on alarms. Not on dreams. They've got goals. And those goals aren't just ideas floating in their head. They're assignments, missions. And every morning is another opportunity to get one step closer. They don't start the day reacting to life. They start by owning it. A routine, a plan, a prayer, a journal, whatever it is, they begin the day on purpose. That mindset sets the tone. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Purpose anchors them when emotions try to drift them off course. It's the difference between waking up tired and waking up driven. Purpose turns the ordinary into the essential. It gives even the smallest actions weight. They're not just getting up. They're getting up with a reason. And that reason fuels everything they do from that first moment to the last. That's what separates those who coast from those who conquer. They stay disciplined. Not when it's easy, not when it's convenient, but every day, especially when they don't feel like it. See, motivation is a spark. It's that hype you get when you hear a good speech or watch someone succeed. But that spark fades. It always does. Discipline is what keeps the fire burning when the spark is gone. It's a choice made over and over again, regardless of mood, energy, or circumstance. Highly successful people don't rely on emotion to guide their actions. They rely on commitment. They made a decision about who they are, and now every action aligns with that identity. When it's cold outside, they still run. When they're tired, they still study. When the world says take a break, they ask themselves, will this move me forward? Discipline is doing what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you want to or not. It's about creating structure and sticking to it. It's waking up early even when sleep feels sweeter. It's turning off distractions even when temptation calls. It's saying no to comfort so you can say yes to greatness later. There's no glamour in discipline. No one claps for you while you're putting in quiet hours. But that's where greatness is built. In silence, in solitude, in repetition. These people understand that habits are stronger than moods. They don't wait for inspiration. They create results through consistency. Each disciplined decision, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of their success. Over time, those bricks build something unstoppable. They don't need to feel like doing it. They just do it because they've trained themselves to follow through. Discipline becomes who they are, and that identity, that's what pushes them far beyond the limits of average. They outwork everybody in the room. While others are planning, talking, or hesitating, they're already moving. They're the first to show up, the last to leave, and the ones still grinding when everyone else has gone home. For them, work ethic isn't just something to be proud of, it's a way of life. They know talent can open doors, but only hard work keeps them open. They don't wait for inspiration to strike. They create momentum by doing the work, whether they feel like it or not. It's not about height, noise, or being seen. It's about being committed to the process. They understand that effort is a multiplier. Whatever skills they have, they amplify it with effort. They're not afraid of the long hours, the repetition, or the grind. In fact, they embrace it because they know every hour invested is a brick laid in the foundation of something greater. They aren't obsessed with being perfect. They're obsessed with improving. Day by day, rep by rep, failure by failure. They learn through doing, through failing forward, through pushing themselves past comfort zones. They don't compete with others. They compete with who they were yesterday. They chase progress, not perfection. And while the world sleeps, relaxes, or makes excuses, they're working. Working in silence, working with purpose, working because they know what it takes. This level of work ethic doesn't come from pressure. It comes from passion, from a deep understanding that success isn't owed, it's earned. They don't cut corners, they don't cheat the clock, and they don't look for shortcuts. Because they know that outworking everyone in the room isn't about showing off. It's about showing up again and again until the results speak for themselves. They learn constantly, not just when it's required, not just in classrooms, but as a way of life. For them, learning isn't a phase, it's a mindset. They understand that the world is always changing, and if they're not growing, they're falling behind. Books, conversations, experiences. Everything is a source of knowledge. They don't wait for wisdom to show up, they chase it down. Curiosity drives them. They're always asking, always observing, always looking for the edge that takes them from good to great. They aren't afraid to admit what they don't know. In fact, they embrace it. Because ignorance is only dangerous when it's hidden behind pride. These people would rather look foolish for asking a question than stay stuck in silence. They know every expert was once a beginner, every master once a student. So they approach life like a sponge, ready to absorb, ready to evolve. They invest time into learning even when there's no immediate reward. No one's giving them a trophy for reading another chapter, watching another lecture, or listening to another podcast on the way to work. But that knowledge compounds. It stacks quietly, building a sharper mind, better decisions, faster growth. They don't just learn facts, they learn perspectives. They listen to people from different backgrounds, different industries, different walks of life, because every voice can teach something and every moment can be a lesson if you're paying attention. Their ego doesn't get in the way. They don't think they've arrived. They stay hungry, always believing there's more to discover. And that hunger, that's what keeps them sharp. That's what keeps them ahead. In a world that rewards the informed and punishes the outdated, they choose to evolve every single day, not because they have to, but because they know learning is their greatest weapon. They keep their circle tight. Not everyone gets access to their energy, their time, or their mind. They understand that the people closest to them have power to build or power to break. So they choose wisely. They don't surround themselves with noise. They surround themselves with people who sharpen them, who challenge them, who won't let them settle for average. The ones in their circle speak truth, not flattery. They bring clarity, not confusion. They don't just clap for wins. They hold them accountable when they slip. There's no room for dead weight in their space. If someone constantly brings drama, excuses, or negativity, they step back, not out of hate, but out of discipline. Because protecting your focus isn't selfish, it's essential. These people know the difference between company and alignment. Just because someone's been around a long time doesn't mean they deserve a seat at the table. Loyalty isn't blind. It's selective. And that selectiveness is what keeps them grounded and growing at the same time. They lean on their circle in tough moments. They don't have to carry the whole weight alone because the people around them aren't just cheerleaders. They're builders. They pour back into each other. It's not about who's the smartest or the most successful. It's about trust, integrity, and shared values. They grow together, learn together, and win together. The circle becomes a system of strength. They seek out people who are better in certain areas. They're not afraid to be the least experienced in the room because they know that's where growth happens. They don't compete with their circle, they collaborate. Iron sharpens iron, and they keep themselves surrounded by steel. Every voice in their corner matters, so they make sure each one lifts, not limits. They take responsibility fully, completely, without deflection. When something goes wrong, they don't point fingers, they point thumbs, right? Back at themselves. That's not weakness, that's strength. It takes real power to own your actions, your choices, your failures. But that's exactly what they do. They don't hide behind excuses or wait for someone else to fix things. They stand up, they face it, and they handle it. Because they know accountability is the price of growth. These people don't waste energy blaming circumstances. They understand life isn't fair, and that's fine because they're not waiting for fair, they're focused on forward. Every setback, every delay, every mistake becomes a lesson because they're willing to look it in the eye and say, what could I have done differently? That self-awareness gives them power to improve, adjust, evolve, power to stop repeating the same cycles and start creating new outcomes. They don't outsource their success to luck, timing, or anyone else's decisions. If something doesn't work, they fix it. If they fall short, they train harder. They understand that the moment you stop blaming, you start building. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. They hold themselves to a high standard, not because someone's watching, but because they are. They refuse to be victims of circumstance. They choose to be authors of their outcome. This mindset frees them. When you take full responsibility, you take back control. You're no longer waiting for someone to save you, for the conditions to be perfect, or for permission to act. You move with purpose because you know everything you need is already within you. And when the pressure's on, they don't fold, they lean in. Because they've built the habit of ownership, and ownership creates results. Now, you've heard the habits. You've seen the mindset, 10 choices, 10 disciplines, 10 ways that separate the average from the extraordinary. But here's the truth. None of this matters if it stays in your notebook. None of it changes your life if it stays in your head. The difference between people who talk about success and the ones who live it is action. You don't need permission. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Start waking up with purpose. Start choosing discipline over excuses. Start outworking your past. Start feeding your mind. Start guarding your circle. Start taking full responsibility for everything in your life. Success doesn't belong to the lucky, it belongs to the consistent. And if you want to be one of the few who rise, who lead, who last, then build these habits into your bones. Let them shape your mornings, guide your decisions, and define how you show up in the world. Because once you commit to these habits, you're not just chasing success anymore. You become it. Now, go earn it.